Hey, once again, Paul from Journey of a Petrolhead, and today we are looking at the 2007 Automobile of the Year car, as voted by Automobile magazine, a Mk5 Golf GTI. Now, this is actually my favourite incarnation of the Golf GTI, the Mk5. This one has the 2-litre turbocharged fuel stratified injection engine, giving it 197, 200 horsepower thereabouts. It's not a 60 in about 7 seconds, but to be honest, these cars are so well balanced. The chassis is really nicely balanced. They handle really well, and it feels like you're going faster. And I would recommend, having driven the DSG and the manual shift versions, there's a lovely manual gearbox in these, so that's really the one you want. The manual gearbox, 6-speed manual, short throw box, really nicely balanced. Turbo comes in very quickly. There's very, very little turbo lag in these cars. Really, really nice to drive actually, and I think this particular incarnation of the Golf, I think, is the best looking version. The first and second GTI models, the first one obviously sparked the trend of GTI, even though they weren't actually the first to launch that badge. The second one was quite good as well, Mark 3 and Mark 4. If you're looking for a Golf GTI, I wouldn't buy a Mark 3 or Mark 4, they didn't drive very well. This is the return to form, the 200 horsepower version. Launched in 2005, replaced in 2009 by the Mark 6, which was on the same chassis. It's nice, you know, they're lovely cars, they look great. They come with all sorts of different trim levels and whatever. You'll notice a few things about this one when you're looking for a GTI. First of all, the suspension is 15 millimeters lower than standard Golf, and it's slightly stiffer, so the car handles better. She's got the Honeycomb Grille with the red stripe, GTI badge, front fogs. Better headlights. Some of them came with the black trim. These are the black trimmed headlights here. Some Golfs don't have that. Some GTIs don't have that. And some of the Golfs they don't wear so well with age. Some of them do, some of them don't. They all have standard problems. If you're going to go buy a GTI, I'd recommend you look at a Mark 5, but I'd recommend you look for a couple of things, right? So the cam follower is known to have problems. The cam belt needs to be changed around 100,000 miles. Both of those jobs have been done on this car. I did the cam follower myself not so long ago. The thermostat can fail open, so the engine will never heat up. So watch out for that. It's an easy enough fix, but the thermostat is buried way down in the engine. We'll see the engine now later on. It's buried way down, so it's tricky to get to. The DSG box needs to be looked after, or it's really expensive to fix. The clutch gives out about 100,000 miles. The clutch in this one hasn't been changed. There's 230,000 kilometers or so on this car, so that's about 140,000 miles. I've no evidence of the clutch being changed, but the clutch is running fine, so when it starts to slip, you change it. The red paintwork, yeah, I like the red paintwork, but I don't know if you can see it on the video, you have a bit of lacquer peel going on this one, a lot of stone chips, so could benefit with probably a respray on this. But you notice that down here, paint has been touched up, so the original black trim down here is replaced by red paint. It's nice, I like it. Let's have a quick walk around this particular model. I'll show you other bits and pieces to look out for. Now, as I said, black trimmed headlights. The headlights on this one were actually replaced. The original headlights faded, so watch out for that on an older car. Sometimes the headlights get a bit of a film over here and they just don't project very, very well. These headlights are brilliant at night. There's Osram nightbreaker bulbs popped into this car as well. So when they're not xenons, they're as good as the headlights on. There's a BMW 5 Series just beside me here with xenon headlights. These headlights they're not as good as xenons, but they're really, really sharp. They're nice. They're not automatic leveling, but they're really, really good. So watch out for that. You may need to replace the headlight units, which is quite a simple job, although you do have to take the front bumper off, which is a bit messy, and watch out for the catches in the wheel arch. A lot of Golfs go through different bodywork extensions and changes and what have you. This one, as you'll notice, has non-standard wheels, but those Volkswagen wheels, they're really, really nice wheels. Just watch out, down to personal taste. You'll also notice this one has a sunshine roof, so it doesn't have air conditioning. Down to a matter of preference, what you prefer. I'm a real fan of sunshine roofs, although they tend to get a bit noisy on motorways, and in the heat you would rather air conditioning, because this one also has black leather seats. So as an option on the car, you could have tartan seats or black leather seats. We'll look at the interior now shortly, and if you have black leather seats, they're generally heated. You notice the stance of this particular car. There's very little overhang in the back. That's why she handles really, really, really well now. The handling on this car is just sublime. Let's go back around the front here. You see the paint lacquer I'm talking about there, lacquer peel. Not great on a red car, but it is what it is. I like the Honeycomb Grille, another sign of a GTI Golf, not on the standard Golfs. It also has these wind diffuser jobs. I'm not a huge fan of them. I'll take them off. But you will notice also on the back, nice spoiler and lovely twin pipes. And this one has actually been debadged on the back, but the way you'll spot them is the spoiler and the twin pipes, and the stance of the car has got slightly wider wheels as well. Now, when I talk about wheels, so the power in this car is delivered really, really well. The chassis is very well balanced for the drive, but what you can have as a problem is if the tyres on the front are not up to scratch, you can have a real problem with putting the foot down and trying to get the power delivered, right? So strongly suggest decent rubber. These cars are definitely a car that benefits from decent rubber. So when we first test drove this, it had Kenda rubber, which is still on the back here. Kenda, I've never heard of Kenda rubber, but there was no traction. You couldn't power through a corner without the car breaking wide. There's no grip on those tyres at all. They're still on the back. There's good tread on the ones on the back. They're not fantastically brilliant, but the car doesn't do much from the back. It's front wheel drive, and it's obviously front wheel steered naturally. So leave the Kendas on the back for now, but Michelin Pilot Sport 4s are popped on the front, transformed the car, absolutely transformed the car. And when we also put in upgraded replacement Brembo discs and pads on the front, it stops as well as it goes. Really, really nice car. So strongly suggest this as if you're looking for a GTI. Every petrolhead has to have a GTI in the garage. They just do. That's an unwritten petrolhead rule, I think. And this is a particularly nice one. Let's have a quick look at the engine bay. Now, there's a lot of modern cars, even though this is 2006, as you can see from the reg plate, so it's 16 years old. You have plastic covers. You can't see a whole hell of a lot. It's a bit of a shame. But what you have is a dipstick, easy to get to, fuel filler cap, easy to get to, coolant, easy to get to, thermostat that had to be changed is buried way down there. You have to take the alternator out and everything. It's a right disaster of a mess. You'll notice there is, well, there's the brake fluid actually. The brake fluid is not too easy to get to, but it's in there. Okay, you see the brake fluid just there. Not so easy to get to, but it's there, okay. There is no steering fluid reservoir. The steering fluid in this car is apparently sealed for life, not user serviceable. And occasionally, if you need to change your steering fluid, you're in trouble, but occasionally the steering angle sensor, as a consequence of this, can get iffy. So this particular car had the steering angle sensor problem, which is signified by an orange steering wheel light on the dashboard. And if that happens, just got to change your steering angle sensor. It's in the front underneath the steering wheel. Battery, fuse box. So battery, fuse box. And to change the headlight bulbs, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but that's down there. Easy enough to get to. So all the parts you need to play with in here are reasonably simple and accessible. It's compact enough engine bay, but the 2-litre turbo FSI engine fills it up quite a bit, and it's nice to work on. Good insulation then on the bonnet. All right, let's have a quick look at the interior. So from the GTI kick plate through to the leather seat that has GTI emblazoned on it, might be hard to see, just there, and GTI on the steering wheel. You know exactly where you are in this car at all times. You're in a Golf GTI, no doubt about that. Now, this is the 3-door model, no doors there, so the door opens very, very wide, which is nice. Now, what you will notice though over time, these plastic bits tend to get scuffed. They were polished up now when we got this car, but some of the switches, you'll notice a bit start to come off. This particular switch here, the headlight switch, you couldn't read the writing on it, it was so faded, but you can buy these off eBay or off Amazon very easily. I think 20 quid got that switch. It pops out and pops in. I have a separate video to show you how to do that. Very simple. There's the headlight adjuster showing you it's not xenon headlights. If we have manual adjustment on a headlight, it is not a xenon headlight. So just in case you didn't realise that. Sports pedals, nice seats. If we sit in here, the dashboard is nice and clear. Okay, it's very, very simple to see everything. The steering angle sensor warning light I was warning about comes up over this side, so watch out for that. If you get a yellow one or an orange one, you need a new angle sensor. If you get a red one, your power steering is foobarred, so good luck with that. Those dials at night glow a nice blue. It's a really, really nice place to be. Double check you've all the pixels working in this screen. If you're buying one of these cars, sometimes they fade. Another thing you will notice is this is not standard radio. It's not even a Bluetooth radio, so I don't know why you'd replace for non-Bluetooth, but it's easy to replace. You can take this, unscrews, that comes out, this comes out, and you just replace the radio and put it all back together again. 20 minutes will do it for you, but it's quite simple. The air conditioning controls would be here. There isn't any air conditioning in this car, but you do have heated seats, which go up to 5, and which are extremely heated, if you follow me. So when you have it on 5 on a really cold day, it heats up very quickly. It's nice. And now that the thermostat in this car is fixed, the heater actually comes on and gets very, very hot in here, so watch out for that. Now we look up here, we have sunroof controls. That's tilt, that's close, that's open, that's fully open if you just hold it back. Glasses holder, sunglasses I mean, so in there. Map reading lights. An auto dim mirror on a 2006. Now I quite like that idea. I think that's a nice touch. An auto dim mirror, which is fantastic, and there's nice ambient lighting that pops out from under. Not sure where the ambient lighting comes from in this car actually. There. Okay, so we have ambient lights there, and there's a nice red glow. I love ambient lights in a car. There's a nice red glow in here. Nice, it's quite nice. 6-speed manual shift, traction control button, and tire pressure monitoring button, both of which are very, very handy. Nice leather seats, and then in the back a lot of space. Again, a 3-door, a lot of storage space, nice leather seats, nice rear visibility, rear map reading lights as well. Glass sunroof. All in all, a really, really nice place to be in this car. It's very hard to find fault with this, to be honest, because it's 16 years old as this video is being shot, and well, it doesn't really look it. You know, even the steering wheel is in good shape, which is usually your first sign when buying a used car. Check for a super shiny steering wheel with a lot of wear, and then check the mileage. And if you have a lot of wear and there's not a lot of mileage, then you got fake mileage on your car. Watch out for that. And finally, we have vanity mirrors. Okay. Good air. Okay, I think I've kind of shown you all the controls that we have. All that's left now really is to take her for a test drive. I'll show you what she's like on the road. Okay, so here we are taking the Mk5 GTI for a test drive, as I said we would. The first thing we notice is it's very easy to drive as an everyday car, which is the whole point behind the GTIs. The GTIs are supposed to be easy as an everyday car, reasonably economical on fuel, good for carrying luggage, and then when you want to press on a wee bit, they're good for just taking off. 200 horsepower, as I said before. This is the 6-speed manual box, which I prefer to the DSG. I just like the manual. The idea of a GTI, it sits better with a manual in my head. So this is the one I would recommend you buy rather than a DSG. It's also cheaper to service, because if the DSG goes wrong, that can be expensive. The other thing the GTI is well set up for is performance driving, dynamic driving, whatever you want to say. It's well set up for heel and toe. So the pedals are perfectly positioned to get some heel and toe in under downshifts, which is really, really nice actually. Not many cars do that. And it's with yet another reason to have the manual gearbox. I mean, the heel and toe setup is perfect. The pedals are in the exact position you want them to be in. So I tend to heel and toe a lot going around the corners in this car. And it's fun, and it just puts the dynamism back into the driving style. So, you know, exploit the character of the GTI when you get the chance. It's fun to drive. I think it looks great in the red, albeit with the small bits of paint lacquer peel going on. But I like this colour. I prefer the Mk5, as I said before. That's the GTI I buy. The other thing to bear in mind, the modern GTIs, if you look on my website, I've referenced the Golf Mk5. And the GTI version of that is a couple of seconds faster to 60, but not hugely. It wouldn't leave this in the weeds that you'd never see it for long. So would you spend 35, 40 grand on a new GTI Golf or more, or would you spend 6 and get one of these with a good service history? Service histories are important. Once the oil has been changed, the cam belt and cam followers and so on have been changed as required, maybe one of these is worth thinking about. It's not really going to depreciate much now, not at this point. 16 years old, as cheap as it gets. Definitely worth thinking about, and perfectly usable as an everyday car. Alright guys, that's been a quick whistle-stop tour of the Mk5 GTI Golf. If you have any questions, stick them in the comments and I'll get back to you as always. In the meantime, like and subscribe, we'll bring you more videos. Thanks for watching.